That's right. We made it. It's time. All the way here at the Tavern Talk. So Nick is going to tell us a little bit about the Blaze Cycle winners. We are going to talk about Blizzard banning levers and plus whether they should go harder or lighter. We're going to have finally my PvP section. And then Nick will give us a little bit more, and we're going to ask some really hard-hitting questions about the new trade add-on coming on with Trade Chat. So, Nick, start us off. Give us some Blaze Cycle information.
Yeah, so we've selected the winners for the Blaze Cycle giveaway. I will be reaching out to you in one way or another, finding it. It may just be I'm going to reply to your comment and say winner, and then we will find a way to get in contact with you. But I have selected them. They're going to go out this week. So congratulations. I'm not going to say the names because I don't really want to do that. I don't feel like it's right at all. But yeah, there we go. Done. Next topic.
All right, so we have Blizzard banning levers in Mythic Plus. So, Nick, where do you kind of sit on this? What do you think about this?
I think it's good. It is good. The question is like you made a comment in the news section. It is too vague from the blue text they stated on. Like, I don't remember how they stated it. It was like, if you've done it an X amount of times, like, how many times? How do they know that you are actually leaving and grieving, so to speak, right?
Right, how do they draw this line? And they didn't tell us where they draw it.
Yep, because I know I've had times where, like, I've left Mythics. I have. Because it just ain't happening. It's not. And that... I don't know if it's like, oh, they're seeing it where they're only running Mythics and they're leaving 68% of the time or something like that. I don't know. I'm pulling a number out of my butt. But I think it's too vague from their wording. I do think it's a good thing to do because it's going to encourage completing the Mythic even if you're not going to time it. And yeah, that does mean you may end up wasting 40, 50 minutes of your time on a Mythic. But that means that time and that you getting into that Mythic now it pushes.
There's some level of accountability.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it. Jordan, what do you think?
I am a bit mixed because, biggest problem, we talked about it already, it's vague.
Yeah.
Because I do want to be able to help my friends get excited about doing Mythic Plus content. Mm-hmm. And if we don't get the key down within the amount of time, that's okay. Right. This 5 didn't roll, this 4 didn't roll. It happens, right?
It's always going to happen because, especially when we take new people through, they might not know the dungeon. That's all right.
And I think they're trying to get rid of I'm a tank, so I get into a group fast. We wipe on the first boss, I leave and brick your key.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously a huge issue they're trying to address here.
Or even if you have a tank too.
Right, if you have a tank that always walks in, hope they only have pumpers. And you always leave after the first boss when you learn there aren't pumpers. Even if you get it down, I've seen tanks leave.
Yeah, or because if you die on the first big pole.
Yep, and then boom, gone. Break your key, not mine. See you later. Yep. So I do like that there's some accountability in it. I don't know, because we've been in keys, like, I don't want them to be, let's say I get into 5-6 keys this week and they all go for an hour. I don't know. It's a Mythic dungeon. I don't want to spend an hour and a half in each one. I feel like there's a point where I should leave. What if I have 5 in a row with groups that I tried for an hour with?
Yep.
Because it doesn't tell me that there's a minimum time. It doesn't tell me any sort of vague thing. If I am one who has left these dungeons enough times, do I get in trouble, even though I've been spending hours trying to get them done?
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Right, well, and that's the thing. Do they take into the accountability of prior, like, you've done a couple bricked keys this week, and then you leave one? Is that taken into effect of this? Or is it just the fact of, well, you've left it this many times this week, here you go, here's a ban?
Right.
Where's this line being drawn?
And I guess we'll have to see once some people come out about getting in trouble for this, what their message says. I do think this is going to be kind of behind the curtain kind of work they're doing here, though. I can't imagine they're going to give you an exact list of the amount of times that you left, and then
or how is it judged?
Because then somebody's going to make an add-on that'll min-max this, and I don't want that either. That's part of why they're keeping this behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Part of why they have to be vague, because somebody's going to be like, oh, if you leave 5 dungeons in a week or whatever, it'll tick the thing, and you'll get picked. So you're going to make an add-on to be able to get right to the limit.
Yeah, it'll just be like a stoplight up in the corner. Good. Oh, you're getting close.
Nope, sorry,
Oh,
dude. You got to stick in for this one. You know,
Yeah.
you've left too many. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't really fix the problem.
No, it doesn't. It just, like you said, it min-maxes, allows people to continue doing the same attitude to a point.
Right, which we will talk once again. The WoW community is in an interesting state because there's a lot of us. And the guys that are people are really trying to climb right now. People are trying to get up there fast. People are trying to min-max their every second in this video game at this point. I do think we need to come together a little bit and kind of remember that there is somewhere between 2.5 and 3 million players that have not played this game since, like, Wrath that are coming back. Like, there's an enormous amount of players coming back.
Yeah.
So we gotta find a
here's
middle ground. I get you want to get your keys done, you want somebody experienced, but there's a lot of new players coming in right now. So in a way, we should embrace it.
Well, and here's a fun point too. Already with having trouble, like if you're playing DPS and trying to get a key going, finding a tank or healer is already difficult at times. Think about if someone were to min-max this, that population is going to decrease.
It will.
Because if it's strictly on tanks and healers leaving, you know, like we mentioned, after the first boss or first pull when you wipe or something like that.
Well, it's the famous one from when they originally did Deserter. You down the first boss and leave, right? Yep, that was the move for a while.
Yeah.
It was
but people are gonna if someone were to min-max it on an add-on, they're gonna go up to that line and then they're just gonna stop mythics for the week or wherever that reset is at, and then they'll go right back to it. So.
And I do think some intervention is needed. I almost wonder, because can you force your community to act in a certain way is where I'm kind of interested. Because now we have a community of people that want to only have elite groups, right? We only want to have these select DPS, these select healers. We only want to have these people.
Yeah, so the high-performance players, yeah.
And so you're literally banning these people in a certain way, right?
Which is not going to go over easy, especially if, you know, we took back a lot of things to where tanks can't run a whole dungeon anymore by themselves. Healers aren't looked at a 4th DPS anymore. We've made all these changes, and now we're having this effect of all these people leaving Mythic.
Growing pains.
Yeah, we're having growing pains with it. So is it really good to now bring down a Banhammer? Even, like, is that the right thing, is to you know, I don't want to say something bad, but like to just bring the Banhammer down. Like you're now causing a negative reaction, or I guess an attacking action or negative. I'll just say negative action on a problem that we could instead do a positive incentivization for players to stay in.
And WoW does have to do this balancing act of hard content, but rewarding players for being good at it.
Right. No, yeah, I'm not saying like you know, just reward people for doing whatever, but instead of doing a negative aspect to it, maybe do a positive one and try to encourage that behavior.
Encourage good behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Positive reinforcement versus negative reinforcement. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. I remember.
Right. Like maybe create an incentive for just getting keys completed, even if they're not timed.
Yeah,
every week,
more than the 50 gold you get out of the chest.
Well, yeah. They would have. We'll leave it up to the Blizzard balancing team to decide what you get from this key. You know, I almost wonder if, because the vault does get affected, they already have a cute little one where your vault will still get pumped up by these keys you don't time.
Right.
So there already is a little bit of incentive there to complete the key. I think they could go maybe a little farther with this, but in a way, I have a lot of trouble blaming Blizzard for this when our community is only accepting, you know, meta people into their group. This is not a game. You know, maybe I just want to play mage. Or well, there's better examples that have been worse. But let's say I just want to play a class that's bad, but I do pretty good at it. They have a place in dungeons, right? Especially in lower keys. Yeah. And it's just so funny having it be so superficial. So I do like where Blizzard's going with this. They are trying to keep people accountable for their actions in World of Warcraft. But is it enough? Should they do more? Should they do less? Let us know in the comment section down below, for sure. So I'm interested to know how you guys hear about it.
Yeah, Jordan, I think we're not going to have any technical interruptions this time. Do you want to talk about PvP?
I guess I will talk about it a little bit.
You're here this week. Why not?
So I'm gonna keep it a little shorter. I'm only going to talk about things that I've noticed on my evoker, healing in arenas, and solo shuffle specifically.
Okay.
A lot of people live or die by Arena 123, which is a famous add-on that allows you to, it automatically picks essentially targets for you, and then if you macro things to it, it will give you, you can essentially pick target 1 for this ability, and you can bind that, right?
Right.
The problem with this is focus in an arena switches. There are lots of opportunities. You will see people like Peekaboo, for example, that don't use Arena 123. They do use different PvP add-ons. I won't get into all that. But they don't use Arena 123 because there are a lot of situations, especially in tight, close arenas, where the focus changes. You find yourself where the healer's playing like a scaredy cat, and then and then he line of sights himself, so then you could burn all your bursts and murk the feral druid real quick.
Oh.
And that would have been, I've seen people do things like this in solo shuffles. And so part of it has kind of brought the beauty back to PvP for me. Because there's a lot of, because I don't use Arena 123, I don't use interrupt macros, I don't use all this gross stuff. It doesn't matter, I can just target a guy and just use all my spells on him. I can reprioritize, I don't have to build add-ons to be able to multi-prioritize. I can just do it.
Right.
You know? Part of it, and that gives me a lot of...
Why aren't you a professional? I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm...
Keyboard warriors.
Sorry.
I'm
definitely not a professional. I talked about it in our news episode that I'm actually only 1,600 on my evoker. This is just my observations.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving you shit.
No, it's good. I bet you we're gonna have a comment that says that. It is part of the evoker is I almost wait for that shift in focus because I have 30-yard range. I have to position poorly in order to be able to heal people, and I've learned that it's a part of the life, part of what I have to do. But I have CC and I have chains, and I can help this switch in focus. And I've learned when a homie on the other team mispositions, if you capitalize, that can be really, really strong. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about how understanding the dynamic of an arena is better than just piling on Arena 123 and weak auras and automatic interrupt macros and hoping for the best. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. That's what has kept me interested in PvP during this dark time for PvP.
This dark time?
Yeah, during the land of add-ons and bots, yeah. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot of ways you can be better than the opponent, and I've kind of learned a lot about that this week, and I just wanted to talk about it. It's not all add-ons. It's a lot of awareness, knowing what's going on.
Well, even just I'll say, even from having a communication with your teammate, like you, Fang, when he was running Monk, and you were running the Evoker heals, and I did Rep Pally. Like, the communication in Discord was phenomenal for us.
The focus.
That helps too. It's not just, like George said, it's not just.
So we just penance. See, I just interrupt penance. Go, 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 go. DPS, right? Like,
we're yelling at each other. Yeah, like, I got it. Like, shields up. Like, hit fire any heals.
You have bubble?
Yeah. Like, mitigate. Yeah, just yelling at each other. Like, but that helps so much too. It goes farther than I think an add-on probably will.
Yeah.
You need
awareness.
Learning the game helps, and the add-ons sometimes distract you from actually learning the game.
Right. You're not looking at the right things anymore.
Yeah, you're looking
trying
at the
to chase
add-ons.
that guy around a pillar instead of take advantage of the DPS that has no healer in line of sight.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So that was enough on my topic. Thank you guys for coming to my PvP talk. But we have one more topic, one more thing we're bringing at you from the Tavern Talk.
Mas.
And so, Nick, we wanted to talk a little bit about how this trade chat subverting add-on may affect the economy. So I told you I was going to start with what do you think are the negative effects this will have on the economy?
Of this?
Yeah.
So I think that this is, if you're not, it's going to be if you're using it or not. is going to be the negative effect. It's going to come to the personal level of the economy, I believe. If you're not using this add-on or don't know about it, and you're trying to make money or trying to buy something, well, trying to really just make money, honestly, once it's completed.
You'll be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, you're going to be at a disadvantage because those that are using it are going to have the want-to-buy ads already in their inventory for inside that add-on, already messaging those people while you're trying to find it potentially in trade chat. Because if you're on at a high, when a lot of people are in a major city, trade chat really pops off. Like, I'm sure everybody's seen it, and sometimes it's
hard to
interesting
not.
topics. Yeah. So I think that'll be a disadvantage for some people. It's getting to the point of like, what is it? There was this thing in the stock market like back in 08, 09, I think, with God, I read a book on it forever ago. It was doing like trades like milliseconds, and like people were doing like it came down to like the length of the cable. It may not get to like that level, but it's the same rough thing where they have an automated way to have an ease of access to the market and a cleaner way too, because then your data is clean from a IT standpoint.
It's essentially how crafting orders should have been in a way.
Yeah. Well, and like even the WoW article or the WoWHUD article stated like it's something that people have asked about even with the new revamped crafting system. Like I think this is a way better tool than what Blizzard's given us. And I'm not one to like. I've learned in hardcore how to make money when it comes to professions. Retail, I'm just like I just go quest. I just go
brutal.
do things.
It's brutal.
Like well, you get so much money for doing just farting crooked in retail. I don't know. Well, I tell you that my engineer is designed to just make one mount, the Mechano Hawk, because it sells at a good rate. Well, there's things like there's
dude,
things
get
in
your bag.
engineering. Right. Well, the things in engineering, like some of it is you have to have engineering like at one. The Mechano Hawk is not one of those things, so you can just sell it on the auction house.
Oh.
Yeah. And last time I looked, they're going for like $55K.
But Nick, do you want to do like starting like an economy series? You want to start
I'd like to, but so I do have a thing in the works right now that I've shown Jordan. I've kind of started dabbling with the API. My code isn't saving stuff correctly and running into issues, and I haven't fully cleaned the data yet. So that's where I'm at now. Is like the polling sometimes has a bug. And then I need to clean the data properly and figure out like matching, because when you pull from the API, it gives you the item ID. It doesn't give you like the item name, like I don't know, healing potion or greater healing potion or whatever. It gives you like 1151, right? So like
and
having
so
to
then,
match
yeah,
that.
you'd have to
so it's
convert
pulling
that.
multiple tables,
You have
putting
to make
tables
the table
together,
for
doing
that,
the joins.
right?
Yeah. So I'm in the works and doing something. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but being a finance and econ guy from college and been doing that my entire life, yeah, I'm interested in doing it. I'd like to. I need to really dive into the economy and MMOs and specifically Warcraft. I would love to be able to sit down and go like figure out inflation in WoW. Like know when
it's
inflation's starting to
complicated with
pop.
the WoW token. It's really complicated.
Right, well, I mean, well, even just like when syncs come out and when like we've talked about it, not on air, but they increase the ability or the cost of repairing. Okay, how is that affecting the economy? But I don't know if I can track that level of action on a player level, because then you can just get average cost of repair per. I don't know if. In what would be perfect is get average cost of repair per item and how many times those items are repaired, and then seeing that increase based on whatever the change is going to be, if it's like level or item level, and then track it that way, like the
right,
super
and that's just the
granular
beginning.
level.
That's just repairing items.
Yeah, I don't think I can get the data that low. I don't think it's in their API.
No.
But it'd be cool.
But there are some really good topics to have here, though, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to get into it. It's something I do want to do, but I'm going on way too much on it. Like I could go.
Well, guys, what I want to say is let us know in the comment section down below if you want to hear more about the economy of World of Warcraft, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Whether that's retail, I'm also I'm trying to do it with right now. I'm focused on retail. I want to do hardcore because originally I was starting this for hardcore, so I could like min max my profession. and just shove money to my bank tune. So let us know if you want to see that. Like Jordan said, like I'd love to just keep diving it. And if you guys want to see it, awesome. I'll just make extra content for it.
Absolutely. Comment section down below. Nick, we had a couple of comments on our last episode. Thank you so much for commenting on our episode. We definitely want you to continue to comment in the section down below. So if you had anything that you wanted us to read during this section, make sure you say it in the comments down below. But Nick, what is our first comment?
Alrighty, from Bun Stornout. Hold on. I use TVs as monitors, so I can't see words or letters sometimes. Bunstonius? We'll go with that. My favorite mount is probably the Grand Expedition Yak. It's the most useful one and allows me to repair and transmog. True endgame. Jordan, don't give in to classic retail for life. That's where you're wrong, bucko.
Ooh, no, I'm a big retail guy. I am never, ever going to stop playing retail. But
I'm not going to stop playing retail.
Nick might be able to talk me into playing some hardcore at some point. Yeah. It might happen. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying it could happen.
Right. The rest of his comment. I don't think I'd want a WoW 2, to be honest. I'd rather them just listen to players and fix the current game. Maybe have a different client and a newer engine for those that have good PCs, like RuneScape has/had. I just got my leveling team set. My leveling team set up for Squirt. It's a great way to level pets that is way less tedious than other ways. So yeah, so there's someone already doing the Squirt week that we've already talked about in the news episode. Yeah, what do you think about that WoW 2 section, Jordan? I know you got something there.
It just, I mean, he has a good idea. I wish it could work like that, because the problem with Newscape and Oldscape is it's actually not the same game.
Yeah.
There is different features and different level up SKUs and different things like that in Scape 3 or whatever it is, Newscape, than there is in Oldscape. WoW would have to make these two separate APIs call to the same server. Mm-hmm. And so they now have to make two clients, one that runs on the new engine and one that runs on the old engine. Reason why I think this is really impractical, they're not going to program the game twice. It's not Minecraft, right? They didn't sell 30 billion copies of it. So they're not going to split production. We either have to take the plunge or continue to have duct tape and popsicle sticks. And so I think they're doing right now a good balance. They are trying to piece by piece work on the back end, and that will slowly make computers obsolete for the game. And unfortunately, that's the truth of it.
Yep.
Once we get to the back end being based on DirectX 12 and PhysX and all these things like that, we're going to move away from it being able to be played on a TI-84, right?
I think too that they've done a lot of updating on visuals as well. Like, I mean, just look at Goldshire.
Well, all the texture redoes. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
They've redone so many textures.
They're bringing it up in a visual aspect
as well. The Tier 2 redos, right?
Yeah. I think the game looks phenomenal. I like going to play Classic and all that because it's like the nostalgia effect. But I do love the new style of stuff. Like, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Our next comment, if you're ready to move on, Jordan.
I'm ready. All
right, Tony, you got to blur the name on this one. It's my mom. Loved the episode. The humor is great in the ad. Had me rolling on the floor. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Love the support.
Yeah. No, it was really creative. I think you remember the first message I sent to you was like, dude, I didn't know we were getting sponsored. You know,
like, what happened? I was like, no, dude, it's a giveaway.
Yeah.
It's literally me. Oh yeah, no.
We got to do more stuff like that. I think we could be a little goofy. I'm almost a little inspired by it.
Good.
So thank you, Nick's mom, for watching. I'll see you next week for another episode of the Valley of Spirits. And Nick, would you send us out?
I can. Thank you for tuning into another exciting episode of the Valley of Spirits. We're your hosts, Jordan and Nick, your go-to Horde players. Join us in Dornagal on the Mal'Ganis server and look up our guild, the Electric Boogaloo, for some epic adventures. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or X as it is known some days, by searching the Valley Spirit.
Some days.
Yeah, some days. I don't know. I call it X, call it Twitter. People do the same thing. Some days it's this, some days it's that. By searching the Valley of Spirits podcast. Don't miss an episode. Follow us on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcast. Check out our YouTube for additional content not found on our podcast platforms, such as lore and hardcore. Until next time, may your quests be glorious and your loot, be plentiful. And as always,
For the Horde!
Horde!